Hi friends, in this video we will learn more about the CSV file format and how you can operate on a CSV file using the CSV module. CSV or comma separated values is one of the most common data serialization and exchange file format where each row or record consists of a set of values separated by a delimiter. Some of the key rules we need to observe while creating a CSV file are: each field in a row is separated by a delimiter. Comma is the default delimiter used in CSV files, but other delimiters like semicolon, tab, and pipe can also be used. In case the value of any field contains a character which is same as the delimiter, it must be surrounded by a pair of quote characters, which is usually the double quotes character. There can be an optional single header line which contains the names of the fields. To understand it better, let us take an example CSV file which contains the marks obtained by students in different subjects. The name of the file is marks.csv. The first row is the header, which contains the names of each data field. The next row is the first record of the data containing the marks obtained by Anita in math subject, that is 83. Note how the fields Anita, maths and 83 are separated by comma, which is the delimiter. The next data record is Amar, maths and 95. These values are also called fields of the record. There are two more records in the CSV file. Now, let us take another example CSV file which demonstrates the need of quote characters. The CSV file contains three fields: name, subjects for which average marks are calculated, and the average marks. The subjects for which average marks are calculated are separated by comma, which is also the delimiter used in the CSV file. For example, in the first record, the subjects eco and maths are separated by a regular comma character, which is same as the delimiter. If we try to read this file using any CSV reader, we will get an error as all the comma characters would be treated as delimiters, leading to incorrect number of fields. Enclosing a field within quote characters mitigates this issue. In this case, we will enclose the field containing subjects within double quotes. Now, the comma between eco and maths is treated as a regular character, and any CSV reader will be able to read and display the file correctly. Now that we are familiar with the format of CSV files, let us go ahead and learn about the various functions available in the CSV module which provides utilities to read and write CSV files. The first function is the reader function, which returns the reader object which can be used to iterate over the records in a CSV file. The first argument is the file object, which can be obtained by opening the CSV file in read mode. The file should be opened with newline equal to empty string, as the CSV module has its own newline handling mechanism which correctly interprets the newlines depending on platform or in case there are any embedded newlines inside quoted fields. The default delimiter in the CSV reader is the comma character and the default quote character is the double quote character. In case the CSV file uses a different delimiter or quote character, it can be specified using the arguments delimiter and quote char respectively. Let us go ahead and read the contents of marks.csv file, which we created a while back. The code begins with the import statement, which loads all the functions of the CSV module. Next, using the with statement, we can open the marks.csv file with empty string as the new line argument and assign the return file object to the variable file. We are using the with statement as it automatically closes the file object once the code block is executed, even if any error is encountered. Now, in the with code block, we will create a CSV reader object using csv.reader file and assign it to variable reader. Using a for statement on the reader object, we can read each row of the CSV file and return it as a list of strings. We will go ahead and print the returned row. The iteration will continue as long as there is a row in the CSV file and terminates when the end of the file is reached. Let us go ahead and execute the script. We will obtain each row of the CSV file as a list of strings, starting with the header list, name, subject, marks, followed by list string Anita, string maths, and string 83.0, followed by data of other students. Moving on to the next function, the writer function returns a writer object. It accepts the same argument as reader function, where the first argument is the file object, which can be obtained by opening a CSV file in write mode, followed by the optional keyword arguments delimiter and quote char. The writer object has access to two methods, write row and write rows, that can be used to write new data in a CSV file. The write row method writes just a single record, which is in the form of an iterable like a list or a tuple of values. Unlike the reader method, which returns a list of strings, the items of the row which has to be written may or may not be of the type string. All non-string data is automatically converted to string before it is written. The write rows method provides a quick way to write multiple rows of data which is present in the form of a nested list. Let us go through an example program in which we will create marks.csv using the CSV module and utilize both write row and write rows method. The code begins with the import statement which loads all the functions of the CSV module. Next, we will create a list containing the field values of the header row, name, subject and marks, and we will assign it to variable h. Now, let us create a nested list and assign it to D. Each item of D is a list containing the field values which have to be written in each row. For example, the first record is a student named Anita whose marks in maths subject is 83.0. Next, using the with statement, open the file marks.csv in write mode with empty string as the new line argument and assign the returned file object to variable file. Now, in the with code block, we will create a CSV writer object using csv.writer file and assign it to the variable writer. Let us write a single row such as the header using writer.writeRow h, where h is a simple list containing field names. Now, we can write the entire data in the nested list D using writer.writeRows D. Let us go ahead and execute the program. We can go ahead and inspect the contents of the CSV file. It contains the header row, followed by the subject-wise marks of each student.